Jeff Daniels is listening to this. If he's not, I'm going to make sure he gets a DVD copy of this.
Well, I'm sure you would. You and him are pretty good buds, huh?
I'm going to show him. I mean, I wouldn't hide anything like that from Jeff Daniels. And Steve-O is contemplating where he wants to get back in the ring or not, but he makes his way back in, sizing up Scott Hayes again. Just sort of sizing him up, Jason, to see what he's going to do this next time and his plan of attack is going to be. I'm sure Dominique has some suggestions.
Just remember, it was many weeks ago when Steve-O turned his back on Nashville, turned his back on his best friend, the man responsible for bringing Scott Hayes to Nashville. He turned his back on Scott Hayes, and now these two are in the middle of a feud like no other here in NWA Main Event.
I thought maybe you were talking about his best friend Jeff Daniels bringing him in tonight. If you can watch this, you can see what's going on, Jason. I think it's a conspiracy.
What?
Well, just look.
Wait a minute, goes for that springboard back elbow, but Steve-O able to duck under, and Playboy Scott Hayes does not nail it.
Steve-O on the outside of the ring. Steve-O is slow coming back in, but see, he's smart, Jason. He's letting everybody know. All the fans of Nashville, he's letting them know that he is smart.
Well, I don't think he's smart. I think he's still a little timid of Playboy Scott Hayes, still a little reluctant to get back in the ring. He does so, a forearm smash to the back of the Playboy. And the action continues. It's the action like this. You're only going to catch it each and every Thursday night. Nick Goulas Sports Arena for NWA Main Event TV tapings, and Dominique on the outside.
Don't forget about the 24th, Jason, the Richland Park Gym, Portland, Tennessee. The King, Jerry Lawler, makes his triumphant return to Portland, Tennessee, taking on the crippler Jeff Daniels. And Jason, Jeff better be on top of his game that night.
And we've said it many times, get your tickets now. The number's on your screen. It will sell out. We will have standing room only in Portland, Tennessee at the Richland Park Gym. Pin attempt, 2 count. Scott Hayes able to kick out at the very last second.
And you know, Jason, I was talking to our commissioner, George Goulas, today. He's going to be there on the 24th. He's assured me that Dominique is not going to do any dirty tactics that night because he's going to be there to make sure that she sits in corner and is a lady.
Well, maybe since Snake Jones went high and dry, maybe we can get that old cage and lock her up at ringside. That's what we need to do, Mike.
That would be great. Maybe that will happen. And
she needs to be locked in a cage like the animal she is.
Jason, please.
You know there's a leash law in Nashville, Tennessee.
Please, don't let Jeff Daniels hear you say all this stuff. I'm telling you, Jeff is a friend of mine. I would have to tell him what you've been saying. I might even have to supply him with a DVD of everything.
I'm sure he'll see it this Saturday. Steve-O, pin attempt, roll through from Scott Hayes. And Scott Hayes not able to get 3 on that one. A roll through now from Steve-O, 2. And Scott Hayes, look at the upper body strength, able to bridge out of that pinning predicament.
Well, now that both men are on the mat, Steve-O is crawling over to make the pin. 1, 2. Scott Hayes gets the shoulder up to break the count. Now Steve-O is picking Scott Hayes up. Let's see what's going to happen here, Jason.
Steve-O up. Irish whip to Playboy Scott Hayes. Into the buckle goes Hayes. And Steve-O now, the offense continues on the former Mid-America heavyweight champion. And now a drop kick to the back of Playboy Scott Hayes.
Scott Hayes is down on the mat. Steve-O goes for the pin. 1, 2. Scott gets his foot on the rope, which breaks the count. But Dominique is over there. Listen to her. Just give up, Scott. Give up, Scott. You can't win this. Go ahead, Scott. Give up. It's okay.
Great ring awareness by Playboy Scott Hayes, able to hook that foot on the bottom rope to break the count of 3, and now a vicious sidewalk slam from Steve-O, drives him right back down to the canvas. Pin attempt, no hook of the leg, and that might have cost him the victory. Playboy Scott Hayes able to kick out yet again.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Steve-O's been in command of this match. Another pin, 2. Scott Hayes gets his arm. Can you believe the resilience of Scott Hayes? Jason getting almost to that 3 count, but gets that shoulder up at the 2.5 count.
And now the abdominal stretch applied to Playboy Scott Hayes by Steve-O. And Hayes is in a place he doesn't want to be, especially right now. The double team, we see Steve-O grabbing the hand of Dominique for extra leverage.
You're exactly right, Jason. Steve-O has been working on that back of Scott Hayes. If he can take his back out, Steve-O's got a chance of becoming the new NWA Mid-America champion.
And now once again grabbing a hold the hand of Dominique. And this allows Steve-O to get extra leverage. By Dominique pulling down, it stretches every muscle in the arm, in the shoulder, in the back of Playboy Scott Hayes.
They've really been working on that back of Scott Hayes. And I'm going to tell you, Jason, Steve-O has been in command of this match for the last few minutes. Oh, there's Jamie Ferrari kicking the hands off. Big hip toss from Scott Hayes.
Well, referee Jamie Ferrari saw the underhanded tactics from Dominique. And now Playboy Scott Hayes with an abdominal stretch of his own.
I believe they call payback, Jason. Reverse neck breaker. They both go down.
Spinning neck breaker, both men down, trying to make a way to their feet. Playboy Scott Hayes trying to rally the crowd here in Nashville behind him, and he does exactly that.
And Scott Hayes is trying to get the crowd behind him, and he has done a good job of that. Up on his knees, both men are coming up very slowly. Jamie Ferrari is discontinued the double count. Steve-O goes to throw a punch. Scott blocks again and delivers his own punch to Steve-O.
The wild swings, but to no avail from Steve-O. Irish whip reverse, duck of the clothesline, and there's the springboard back elbow. He hits it that time onto Steve-O. One more Irish whip off and a spinning heel kick.
Steve-O down. Scott Hayes is going over. He's got the pin on hooking that leg, but what's going on, Jason? The referee's not there counting.
Well, Dominique up on the ring apron, distracting referee Jamie Ferrari.
Scott Hayes is going. What was that, Jason?
Dominique just threw something behind the back of the referee and behind the back of Playboy Scott Hayes. That foreign object from last week. But wait a minute, side suplex, and Steve-O drops the object.
Scott Hayes is trying to get back to his senses. He's looking around to see what happened. I believe he grabbed that object, and I believe it was a chain, Jason James.
That foreign object, brass knuckles, chain, whatever it may be, wrapped around the hand of the Playboy, and he clocks Steve-O right in the head. Playboy Scott Hayes has just beaten Steve-O at his own game.
Going for the pin, but Jamie Ferrari is calling for the bell, Jason.
Well, Jamie Ferrari must have seen, obviously, the foreign object in the hand of the Playboy. But, Mike, on a disqualification, the championship does not change hands.
You're exactly right, Jason. The championship does not change hands, so that means that Scott Hayes is still the NWA Mid-America Heavyweight Champion.
Well, there you hear it from the horse's mouth. Still Mid-America Heavyweight Champion, Playboy Scott Hayes. We'll see you next week.
You see, Saturday, January 24th, Steve-O should be getting an NWA Mid-American title shot versus you, Playboy Scott Hayes. But what happened? The NWA sends you off to defend your title in another territory. What do I get in return? Pat Tanaka. That's right, Pat Tanaka. I'll give you credit where credit is due. You were one time a former AWA Tag Team Champion. But this isn't the AWA. This is NWA Main Event, and I'm now one half of the greatest tag teams running right now. Me and the crippled Jeff Daniels. You see, Pat Tanaka, January 24th, Portland, Tennessee. You better bring your A game. You better bring your B game. You better bring your C game. You better bring all of your game, because it's going to take every bit of it when you walk into Portland and face Steve-O, January 24th, Portland, Tennessee.
You know, tonight was just a little taste. White Tiger, what you did was you brought everything you had, and it wasn't good enough, because what happened, you fell short to the crippler, just like everybody else. But January the 24th, Portland, Tennessee, the NWA's done it. They think they've got me right where they want me. George Goulas, Mike Porter. You sit back and you put your feet up on them desks. And you laugh to yourself and you say, oh, we got it. We got the cripple where we want it. We got the King. We got Jerry Lawler. Well, let me tell you something, Kingfish. This is the NWA, and I am Jeff the Crippler Daniels. I'm the man that makes things happen around here. Tennessee belongs to me, Lawler. So to 24th, Portland, Tennessee, you shine the crown, you lace them boots, and you walk that aisle. Because standing across from you is 230 pounds of one mad man. They don't call me the cripple for nothing. Jerry Lawler, somebody's gonna get hurt.